My business is in Milford. I would buy a bottle of wine. It takes about an hour to drive home, and I would pretty much sip the whole bottle on the way home. So basically,
it's drinking. You drank the whole bottle. That's it.
Okay. The choice of words that mean the same thing.
No, they don't. They
Okay.
really do not mean the same thing, sir.
Okay.
And you can't make it up. Can you imagine that he uses those words at his parole hearing? I buy a bottle of wine for my drive home. It's an hour long, and I finished it. I took a sip. And it's a choice of words. You can't make it up. I don't know. He must have had too much of that Connecticut water, because with an answer like that, really, they continue to surprise me at these Connecticut parole hearings. They really do. And this man really has DUI after DUI after DUI. And finally, a judge said, enough is enough. You're going to go to prison. Now, the hearing doesn't get much better from his perspective. So I'll unpack it with the details at the end.
Good morning. Thank you for seeing me. My name is Stephen Courtney.
And your inmate number, sir?
417259.
Officer Schnelly, it's clear that Mr. Courtney has some problems hearing, so if we could all raise our voices.
Okay. Mr. Courtney, have you heard her so far? Can you hear us so far?
Could you repeat that, please?
Can you hear us now better?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Stephen Courtney, inmate number 417259. He is serving a sentence of 63 months. Execution suspended after 39 months jail, 3 years probation, followed for 3 counts of illegal operation of a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol, violation of probation with underlying offenses of reckless endangerment, interfering with officer resistance, and a violation of probation with the underlying offense of illegal operation of a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol, attempt to evade responsibility, and reckless driving. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of 3/15/2025 at 50%. There's no victim input in this case. The offender, there is an offender accountability plan. However, it has been reviewed and shows the offender has not completed any programs to date, utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system source. The SRT falls within the low range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Courtney, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Well, obviously I'm here for my own mistakes. I fully acknowledge that. I made mistakes, and you have all my records in front of you, so you're aware of the fact. And I'm not saying this to make an excuse, because there is no excuse, but I was born with a very, very painful and terminal bone disease that I made the mistake of sipping wine on the way home from work to reduce the pain. None of the medications that the doctors gave me for years did anything at all. I was self-injecting myself for several years with 3 different medications, one stronger than the other. And the first 2 didn't work at all. The third one I was taking every month, and it worked for a few years. And then after a few years, it started working less and less, like 3.5 weeks, 3 weeks. FDA only allowed you to take it once a month because it had cancer side effects, but my doctors got the FDA to let me take it every 3 weeks. And I did that for about a year or 2, and that helped. But again, it kept getting less and less. So I got to the point in 2020 where I needed help. So I went and I sought counsel. And through 2020 and halfway through 2021, I sought counsel, and at the end of that, I have been completely alcohol-free for going on 4 years now, based on that counseling that I sought back in 2020 and 2021. I live with my wife. We have our own house. We've been together for 55 years. She's been fighting cancer for the last 30. So it's been a tough 14 months for her. But again, it's my fault. So I fully acknowledge that. I rationalized when I was sipping wine on the way home because I knew it was wrong, but it was helping with my pain level. So I definitely rationalized. And as I said, for the last 3.5, going on 4 years now, I've been completely alcohol free. I know that they suspended my license, so I have a problem there. I plan on going back to work. It's about 40 miles away from where I live. I'll have to figure out a way to get there. But I don't know. The one thing I would like to mention to you, and I'm a little embarrassed to say this because I've done this completely on my own for the last 30 years, and it's something that only my wife and I are aware of. But I established a philanthropic fund back 30 years ago, strictly for children who need help. Places like Covenant House, providing housing for teenagers who have no place to go. Shriners Hospital for Children, St. Jude's Hospital for
Okay,
children's
Mr. Courtney. Mr.
Yes,
Courtney,
ma'am.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're
Right.
asking you to tell us why you believe you deserve parole. Could
I
you
was just
focus
gonna-
on that question?
I was going to mention on the fact that this pet program of mine, I've contributed over $2 million to in the last 30 years, just to help children out. And again, nobody knows about it except me and my wife and the recipients. I stopped drinking completely. It was a mistake. I acknowledge that. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm used to working
Okay.
6.5 days a week. I've helped people my whole life. If I didn't have money, I did it with my carpentry skills. Once I became successful in business, I've done it financially, and I continue to do that. I will continue when I get out of here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you're ready, we'll begin with asking the questions we prepared based on the documents that were available to us.
Okay.
All right, we'll begin with my colleague, Ms. Berry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Courtney, your file was an interesting read, and your statement was even more interesting.
I think we need to be louder.
Okay. Are you struggling to hear me, sir?
I can hear you. It's tough, but I can hear you.
Okay. So I said that your file was an interesting read, and the statement that you just gave us was even more interesting. And it was interesting because you said that you repeatedly said that you made mistakes. And I would challenge you or argue that they weren't mistakes, sir, that they were actually choices. And from sipping wine, I don't think you can get drunk. I mean, taking a sip to ease the pain is completely, you sound like you're making it sound as if you were taking communion. That's a sip of wine, not a whole bottle of wine or wine in your car. Tell us where exactly you work, sir. Where was it in Milford?
My business is in Milford. I would buy a bottle of wine. It takes about an hour to drive home. And I would pretty much sip the whole bottle on the way home. So basically,
it's drinking. You drank the whole bottle. It's not a sip.
Okay. The choice of words that mean the same thing.
No, they don't. They
Okay.
really do not mean the same thing, sir.
Okay.
So in Milford this is where you work. Your drive home was about an hour, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And so why did you get 6 or 7 DUIs in New York then?
6 or 7, that never happened.
Sir, your DUI, you had operating under the influence from 93 up until 2021. In fact,
No,
were you on
under some supervision or something in New York, or is that another file? Because these all run
No.
together.
You have 93, and that was one, and then the one in 21, when the plow fell off the front of my truck, that's the second one. What else do you have?
You have one in 93. I show 2012, 2014, 2011, and 2017. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then in Connecticut, you have 1, 2, 3, 4.
I didn't have anything in 2017. And the
Sorry.
one and two,
You shouldn't have more than one.
I understand you're correct.
I mean, we're not argue over how many of these that you've received, sir. We're simply saying that your choices, not your mistakes, your choices to drink wine and drive throughout the states is a danger to society. You've been in prison for how many months? You said 14 months now?
What's 14, yes, ma'am.
And you have not taken any programs to address your substance abuse. Do you think that you're an addict, sir?
I signed up for Division 2.
Do you think that you are addicted to alcohol, sir?
No, and I signed up for level 2 alcohol on March 3rd. And on March 12th, I received a response from the prison saying that I was on the list. And I never heard a word for 8 months. And then last week, they called me to tell me that, my name had come up for this program. I explained to them that I had this meeting with you folks today, and the woman specifically said, okay, let's put this off until after the parole hearing. I've tried to get into the GED program to teach other inmates, and I have a bachelor's degree. I was told by the counselor that the inmates
we're getting off track. I need you to really stay focused on the questions that I'm asking you, sir. You're not in prison. You're not in prison because you're trying to give $2 million to children, or you're trying to assist people to obtain their GED. You're in prison because you continue to drink alcohol and then get behind the wheel of a car and drive. And in this instance, sir, you were on the side of the road because you crashed into some trees. Why is it? I know I'm speaking loud enough for him to hear.
Yes.
I can hear you. The problem is, if you can just speak a little slowly, it's not your fault, it's mine. I can hear you.
Okay. The fact of the matter is, Mr. Courtney, I do not believe that you're a suitable candidate for discretionary parole. You have not taken any programs to address your needs. You have several, driving while under the influences. You talked about your license being suspended, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Or will you ever be able to receive another?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And you were supposed to have the interlock device in your car, right?
Interlock device, no. I've had them in the past, but not when what happened put me here, no.
Because you weren't supposed to be driving at all.
That's not true, no. I had a totally legitimate license when this took place.
So with 4 DUIs in Connecticut and the 6 in New York, you weren't required to have an interlock device in your car, sir?
I would be required to have it for like 3 months at a time, and then it would go away. And then maybe 2 years later, I'd get in trouble again and have to put it back in again. This one in 2017, I have no idea what you're talking about, really.
Okay,
And I have tried to sign up for things, and I've been told no.
I understand that, sir, but until you do get the programs, I mean, even with the programs, have you ever you said to me that you don't believe that you're addicted to alcohol, and I would challenge you to really think about that statement, sir. No one receives this number of convictions for driving under the influence without having an issue with substance abuse.
Ma'am, the only thing I could say to you in reference to that is, if you took a little more look at this terminal bone disease I have, you might realize how extremely painful it is. I am not addicted to alcohol or anything else.
I sympathize with you and your ailments, Mr. Courtney, but drink and stay at home, okay? Drink all you want, stay
I
home.
don't plan on drinking ever again, man.
But I'm saying, if that's your ailment and you've been struggling with this since you were a child, as you told us in your opening statement, you want to drink alcohol, alcohol is legal. You can go to the store and buy it. Our issue is that you get behind the wheel of a car and you put thousands of other people at risk because of your poor decisions.
I agree with you.
And these are not mistakes.
I am not drinking alcohol again, period. I'm done. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I've acknowledged that. And I will never drink again. I'm sorry.
I don't think our issue really is with your drinking, sir. It's what you do after you're drinking. So
I don't know how else to explain to you that.
There's nothing else to explain because, you know, in this, you had this is a concerned citizen called authorities because you had a single car accident. You had vomit in your front seat. And what was going on that day? That's a sip of alcohol, vomiting in your front seat?
The one that you're talking about, I was parking my truck asleep on my own private property.
Sir.
On private property that I own.
Sir.
And that's a fact.
Okay, I'm all set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Courtney,
Yes, ma'am.
when you had your pre-sentence investigation interview, you told the interviewer that when I do drink, I cannot stop.
True.
That is the sign of someone who is a problem drinker.
I agree.
And okay. And the fact that you cannot wait until you get home to address your pain issues with alcohol, but you would spend an hour on the road every day finishing off a bottle of wine. Finishing it off. He drank a whole bottle in the hour ride home is a problem, sir. We made our decision about your going out to discretionary parole to finish your 39 months based on the interests of public safety.
I understand.
Okay. Mr. Ziskowskis.
Good morning, sir. I don't have a lot of, I don't have a lot of questions. There's just a couple of things. You said that you weren't able to get the programming inside, you had applied for it, but when you spoke to the parole officer and they asked you, do you plan to take any programming when you get out for your alcohol problem? You said, no, I don't need it. And in fact, your plan was you were going to go on a safari and then you wanted to go to the driving range to hit golf balls. You're not addressing, the issue, and you're not acknowledging that you have a problem with alcohol. I mean, even today you said you have no. I know, but just a couple.
Have a problem.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. But just a couple of minutes ago, you were telling us you have no problem with alcohol. That's the whole reason why you're here. Drinking alcohol and then driving behind the wheel. So I just think you need to come to terms with what's going on in your life and make a plan so that you can get to a place where you can, recognize what the issue is and get some treatment to help you with that. You've had no treatment since you've been incarcerated, and you have no plan to attend treatment on the outside, and you have plans to do all kinds of other things, but not address the problems that led you here. So I encourage you to get serious about your problem and start making plans for how you're going to address this when you get out, because you're going to be right back in here with the attitude that you're presenting today. You're going to be right back in here, sir. I mean, you're not in a place where you're not in a place where you're presenting as a person that's been rehabilitated and has changed and is ready to get back into the community in a safe manner. I don't know if you know this, but there's a note in here, like your neighbors are all afraid to walk on their street because they're so concerned of your drinking and driving up and down the road that they're afraid to even come out of the house and walk on the road. So, this is a public safety concern that I don't think you're at a point that you've recognized the magnitude of. Yeah.
I don't understand that you're not understanding that I'm telling you that I can't drink at all. I don't want to drink at home. I don't want to drink ever, because when I drink, I get out of control. So and I do have a program set up for when I get back. I'll be going to see a psychologist that I was seeing in Westport several years ago, who now has an office in Richfield. He moved from Mahopac, New York to Richfield, where I live. And now my attorney has set up a program for me to start seeing him again. He also has an office in Westport, but it's more convenient for me in Richfield because I can't drive. And that program has already been established. But the thing is, I can't understand, I can't be more emphatic about the fact that I do not want to drink at home. I do not want to drink at home.
I understand you don't want to drink, and I'm sure you don't want to drink and drive, but you need to get rehabilitated. People need help with that. That's not just, you just say it and then the problem goes away. That's not how this works, you know? So you need to have treatment and make plans to have treatment, sir. So that's all. Those are just some of the things that I noticed when I read through these documents that I wanted to bring up. And I'm going to pass it back to the chairperson here.
So, Mr. Courtney, the concern really is that you're going back to the same house, the same job, and you fix nothing. And so, you still have your medical issues, which is what you attribute your abuse of alcohol to. So even situationally, things don't seem to put you in a better place to not reoffend. And that's our concern. So at this point, we're done with the questions. We're going to talk about your case. Give us just a minute. Ms. Berry?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that we have all expressed our concerns, and they're all very much the same. At this time, while I can appreciate Mr. Courtney's ailing health and his medical issues, I don't believe that he's suitable at this time. I'm happy to hear that he is at least now accepting that he does have a problem with alcohol. We've made some strides. Maybe I wasn't as clear as the two of you or as articulate, but at least now he recognizes that he has an issue that needs to be addressed. He knows that he can no longer drink. That's great for him to know, but for right now, I don't find him acceptable or disrespectful. In fact, he's been given a number of times. I will not vote to have him with me.
I'm not interested in that either. Are you on board?
Yeah, I can't, I can't even have this conversation without him having received some type of treatment, you know. So I'm not in a place to grant parole.
Okay. So the reasons I have are criminal history, inadequate program participation, and evidence of offender change, nature and circumstance.
On probation, Madam Chair. And he's been for VOP. So.
Well, the probation was New York, so. Are we okay with those reasons?
I have those, yeah, those three.
Okay. So in the matter of Stephen Courtney, inmate number 417259, there is motion to deny parole for the following reasons: your criminal history, the nature and circumstance of your current offenses, your inadequate program participation, and evidence of offender change. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Parole is denied unanimously.
Would you please help me sign up for this tier 2 program that I've been trying to get into since last March?
I would think you need tier 4, sir, but please talk to the counselors there at the facility. Ask for tier 4.
Good luck.
This concludes the hearing for Stephen Courtney, inmate number 417259. Mr. Courtney, you'll receive all this in writing, okay? So good luck to you. Talk to your counselor about your interest in tier 4 or whatever program it is that you choose to do. Have a good one.
Hide your wife, hide your kids, stay off the road. Like you heard, they said their neighbors are afraid, and that is a travesty. He is getting out regardless in good time in March. That's in 5 months from now. He's going to be back on the road. He is dangerous. Oh my God. This is someone who is so dangerous. How can you be so clueless? And it's like the whole world can see that it's happening. He's going to get out. He's going to get back in a car because he's going to drive an hour to and back from work every day. But don't worry, he's just going to sip some wine. They need to like designate a, I don't know, a patrol car to follow him and just wait, watch him go and sip his wine, pull him over and lock him up for good. Put away the key. I've been donating millions of dollars over all these. No one knows about it. So I'm going to tell you that I do it. It's like, dude, you're dangerous. You know, at least the parole board, you know, for these cases, they don't like the DWI cases. I think because I don't know why it is that they wrap their mind around that differently than like those who harm children, those who, it's just something they think about differently for some reason. But man, I do, even though they handled it great, I still wish Mr. Mirabella would have had a piece of him. I mean, there had to be something. You would think there should be something that they can do to protect society from this monster. I don't know, like, could they not set requirements? Could they not like issue, like we've seen Louisiana do that? They'll be like, you're denied, and when you get out, or they'll make some type of conditional parole first, but they'll say you need to wear a scramble bracelet, you need to have a breathalyzer, you need to do this, you need to do that. He apparently is wealthy. He can, or he claims to be, and he can do those things, right? Well, I just feel like this is going to be another one of those big one of those things. It killed. How did this happen? Why it could have been stopped? But you know, I'll read to you some things that Sir Richard found. Let's see. I can. There's an address here, so I'll just read it to you instead of screen sharing it. But let's see, and we'll go over his crimes. 2013. So this is in 2013. Richville police were called to Mountain Road at 9 p.m. Sunday. On word, a car was stuck in someone's lawn. When the patrol officer arrived and approached the vehicle, it sped off, nearly striking the police officer, who ran to his car and followed it. They had a brief chase, a car chase, that ended when the car struck a parked car and a tree. When the officer stopped near the car, the driver backed up and hit the cruiser. I mean, how was he not locked away for this? This was October 9, 2013. Not his most recent offense, right? The officer of the man and the man, later identified as Stephen Courtney, struggled, and the man was charged with criminal attempt to assault an officer, interference with police officer, first-degree criminal mischief, driving under the influence, and failure to drive right. What is that? Failure to drive right. He was also charged with reckless driving, failure to drive in the established lane, eluding police, 2 counts, and evading responsibility. And let's see what they gave him for that, right? Now, he would have had a good attorney. The attorney would have said, this might have been his first offense, would have said, he's a great guy, he's an outstanding person, blah, blah, blah. So that was, like we said, 20, let me see, let me just remove this here. All right. That was 2013. So that's this one. What did he get for this? He got sentenced to 9 months jail. But I think probation death. Did he actually serve the time though? I guess it's not so clear, because you can see it's revoked for this offense. Then he has his 2020, which was sentenced to 3 years jail. But remember, they suspended it after all of this. The bottom line is he's only serving like 1 year with good time. He has on 5/21/2020 his third DUI. He has 2018 illegal operation of a vehicle, sentenced 3 years, but suspended after 1, probation 3. All right, I have in my notes, they say he's a low risk of recidivism. It's like, they're idiotic algorithms. Low risk of recidivism. Are you kidding me? This guy is such a high risk, but that's what they do. We don't have PhDs. We don't understand it. Yeah. I don't know. Here's the other accident. Is this the same 2011 accident? I don't know. They say they also found 35 grams of the devil's lettuce in his car. what can you do? It's just crazy. I think it's the sentencing that's crazy for this. Hopefully, maybe they have the requirements. Maybe the judge sets the requirements that once he's released, he has to do those things. Maybe that's out of the parole board's hands. It's just a different system. My 4-year-old son just came back from school while I was recording this, and he came in, and he gave me this bracelet that he made for me, and he says, "I put turtles on it," and he did. He put, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, he made a bracelet. There you go. And he actually put 2 turtles on it, and he gave it to me. He knows I like turtles. Oh, you can see it this way. And that was really cute. And it's like, we have to do a better job at protecting our little ones. We just do. This guy is so dangerous, so clueless. And it's a strange thing with these DUI cases. I know that DUIs happen. There are people that don't, a lot of people drink and drive. Some people never get caught. Some people do get caught. Some people do it once or twice. This guy clearly has probably been doing his whole life, and he just gets caught every once in a blue moon. But so many that we see who get caught, who then have parole, they are the worst of the worst, and they show it at their parole hearings. There's this type of just detachment of reality that we see over and over again, especially the ones that kill people. And it's just strange. I don't know how that happens, but it does. And thank you, Sir Richard, for the info. With that, I'll let you go.
My business is in Milford. I would buy a bottle of wine. It takes about an hour to drive home, and I would pretty much sip the whole bottle on the way home. So basically,
It's drinking. You drank the whole bottle. Not a sip.
okay, the choice of words that mean the same thing.
No, they don't. They
Okay.
really do not mean the same thing, sir.
Okay.